play right now, right? And we're live.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Live.
Magic.
Check 1, 2.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to SVT time. One of these days I will actually remember what episode we're on because we've been doing so many of them. But anyways, welcome everyone. I'm your host, Dino Monoxylus. My co-host, Dom Liberati, is with us today. And very, very special guest today is Mr. Chris Wyse joining us from...
Thank you very much.
Where are you at, Chris? Are you in Southern Cal right now?
Yes, I'm in the Hollywood Hills area, kind of close to Runyon Canyon. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a sunny, beautiful day. I don't want to brag. I don't know how the weather is.
No, it is. It's amazing.
Yeah. Dom's not too far from you in Malibu. And
that's right. I saw that.
I'm still here in New Hampshire. It's cold and rainy. It's been okay, but it's been cold and rainy. So that's hence why I'm still warmed up. Actually, I got to turn my space heater off here because it's causing a lot of noise. But how you been, brother? How's everything? Been a long time since we've talked.
Yeah, we didn't get to do NAMM this year and all the normal stuff, you know. So it's nice to see you guys. I've been recording, working on a comic book. Doing a solo record, even though I also have Owl.
Right.
What the solo record is, if you want to check it out at chriswyse.com, it essentially is a little more bass driven, where I have layers of basses on basses and playing with the upright bass here. Sometimes on top, more in the high register with distortion and wah-wah. Then the bass guitar is distorted or not on the bottom. And then I do lots of layers, almost like a soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And then I may sing or I may not sing. But it's not as vocal, singer-songwriter driven as Owl. So it's really kind of like a bass player's feature type of thing. You know, I'm kind of getting to show off a little more. And owltheband.net, if you want to check out that stuff, is more singer-songwriter driven. I think that's the best way to explain what's going on. But I'm using the Owl character in my new comic book. If you've seen some of that art on my website, it's outrageous. And I found this amazing artist called Russell Marks, and he was doing the Netflix series Myths and Monsters. Mm-hmm. So I was very impressed by his stuff, and I just... saw something about a Jack the Ripper type character that he was doing in the series on the screen.
Okay.
And I just got done doing a Jack the Ripper song, like a Iron Maiden epic 8-minute song with all these bows and craziness. It was a lot of fun. And then I saw this Spring Hill Jack art on the screen during this series on Netflix. And I thought, my goodness, if I could get an artist like him, I would have it. Because I had this owl comic book character, like dark gothic stuff, you know. So then I thought, oh my God, just call him and see if he wants to work with me. And then he loved the idea. So we've been collaborating on like this ultra musical bass record and a comic book story.
Okay.
Essentially is what it is. So that's my solo record, and I got my band Owl. So it's a little confusing because I'm using the character, the Wise Owl, which is my last name. Has followed me my whole life. But essentially that's been the focus. And then we just put out an Owl release with the band Owl as Black Sabbath. And you can kind of see I was using the upright here, the background on top, and then using the bass guitar. So all this stuff has been evolving. It's been a lot of fun. And of course it's all Ampeg driven, you know. I have multiple rigs I like to use in the studio. But essentially, you know, what I use sometimes, you guys remember the vacuum drive, the vacuum DI rather.
Oh yeah,
and
DI.
Yeah, that's a pretty good. Just like if I have to be on the go, I'll get my basic tracks with that. So that sounds great. Still, I mean, to me, that's one of the nicer. Yeah, me too.
I think that's our number 1 or number 2 most requested bring back from our customers. So
I would, that's a good question.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to ask you guys if you were going to make a new one, and if you did, could there be maybe a drive type of thing that you could dial in, you know.
There could be.
That would be something, because then we'd have that nice smooth tube drive, you know. But we've chatted a lot, Dino and I, too, about some of my ideas and stuff. But I'm very curious to see what you're up to next. I see you have new Rocket amps, the smaller portable amps out. Yeah. You have an 8-inch one as well, right?
Yeah, an 8-inch, a 10-inch, a 12-inch, a 210, and a 115.
Yeah,
and they're all super light compared to the BAV2s. Some of them are half the weight of BAV2. We got a brand new drive circuit. You're talking about drive. We try to take like basically SVT, standing for super valve technology or super vacuum technology, and we've created this SGT circuit, and it's essentially, it almost acts in the Rocket Base series as like a pedal in front of the amp, and man, the grit it sounds so good. It's like grit mixed in with like ultra low as you like ride it up, basically.
That's nice.
We gotta get Chris to check that out, Dom, too. Because I know, and Chris and I have had like many conversations about different types of distortion and drive and how to incorporate that into your sound. Because I mean, a lot of your sound is based around that type of sound as well, Chris. You know.
I usually have a channel that's dirtier. Yeah.
What's your what kind of operator are you using back there?
That's the NXT Ned Steinberger upright.
Very cool.
And I also have the new Omni as well, which he sent to me, which is awesome because it's on a bass guitar scale, so it's a little smaller.
Cool.
My chops went up a few degrees on the bow spectrum because you don't have to. You can ignore the bass fingerings and just do all bass guitar fingerings and no thumb position and no 1-2-4. So I kind of said I resisted it for a while because I felt like it was cheating as an upright bass player. You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
But then I tried it and I was like, oh my God, I can bring this on the plane. I can have an upright bass with me anywhere I go. And it sounds great. And this one's full size behind me. But I have the Omni as well here, But for traveling, that's really helped. And I do my own shows. I bring my own gear when I just do owl shows and stuff like that. And I use the 100-watt head with the 212 that's behind me here. To me, that keeps me in that tube sounding thing that I like,
Yeah.
And I like that I can get the gain out of this thing. And if your strings are kind of getting dead, a little gain gives a bit of life, right? So I feel like I might change my strings less when I use this particular rig because of some of the gain structure, that maybe I'm getting a little more, which is interesting.
Chris, did you start more?
The amp breathes so much.
Did you start more on upright or just standard bass? Did you start more on upright bass or standard electric bass, or did you kind of just mix and mingle throughout learning bass?
I was a bass guitar freak, starting with like Steve Harris from Iron Maiden and being one of those guys that was like obsessed with Steve and everything. But when college came, I ended up playing upright bass for a music degree. And in upstate New York, where I was at the time, there was really no bass guitar like Berkeley or LA. So I had that rude awakening of playing a big upright bass and playing in tune to get in college after I was kind of shredding around on a fretted bass guitar. It was like, it was a rude awakening, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. Even holding a note with the bow, one note can be a really difficult thing where you're just like, it's like hard to get your head around the new fingerings and where you have to be mathematically and all that. So, and I was 17, so that was pre-college. So I've been at the upright bass for a long time. But the bass guitar is, it's primarily what you see me doing. And that's why it's kind of cool and different for me to go do owl, because I can kind of divvy up the upright bass. A lot of bands don't have songs for upright bass. So if you join a band, like I was in the Cult for many years, it was kind of tricky to incorporate. I was always trying to sneak in some sort of upright bass thing, but it was mostly on the albums for layers, And then Ace Frehley, I remember Ace Frehley walking in the room when I was rehearsing and just kind of shredding. And I don't think he ever heard me like solo or anything like that. And I didn't realize he was in the room, and he was like, man, you're going to do a bass solo every night. And I figured since he was open-minded to me doing all this kind of stuff, the next day I brought in the upright, this one behind me actually. And I started going off on it, but there was no place for it in the show. You know what I mean? But it was really funny to see Ace reacting to me soloing on the upright bass with wah-wah and distortion. He was standing there going, oh, what? I've never seen that, whatever. But, it didn't fit in that band. But where it does fit, it fits in the Vampires. I have a bow piece on the album Rise. So that's kind of what got me started on my solo album, because Johnny Depp ended up titling it. It's called A Pitiful Beauty. And they kind of requested this owly bow piece from Getting to Know Me. And so I wrote this spooky piece. To me, it's like a vampire coming out of his coffin, you know. And that was just me in the studio with an engineer and going, okay, let's try this, let's try that. And just composing more than a rock band kind of structure, you know.
That's really cool.
And none of the guys were in the studio when you were doing that.
So that's kind of.
Oh, I was just going to say, it was just, none of the other guys from the Vampires were in the studio when you were doing that. It was just you and the engineer.
Yeah. They just kind of requested it, and I went and hired an engineer and had some ideas and just went for it, and then sent it to him, and they said, well, that's it. And I was like, great, you know. But that's what kind of got me on this thing where I was like, gosh, I should do that for movie soundtracks, for my solo record. I should do it for a bunch of reasons. So it got me on that new direction, you know.
Love that.
Not thinking so conventionally, like where's the drummer, where's the guitar player, where's the keyboards, where's the singer. It was thinking more out of the box and just going, hey, I want to write a piece. I'd like to write a piece for that show Lucifer on Netflix or whatever it is, you know. Or I'd like to write different kinds of pieces that aren't necessarily rock. That's all, you know.
It's funny you bring up a good point, because I remember, you know, I think we're like a few years apart in age, but I remember back then when I graduated high school and started looking at music schools, nobody would take you as an electric player. Yeah. It was like, you know,
you couldn't get in anywhere.
Yeah, you had to play upright. So you kind of, I don't want to say forced, but nobody was really accepting the electric bass as a major per se. You had to play upright, which was good. I think it benefited all of us by doing that, because we're all upright players here now.
Upright is like this.
Looking
on like a rite of passage, because it's like this massive thing that you kind of have to have in your repertoire and your toolkit as a player. But it's like what Chris was saying earlier. It's like it's like in the corner, and then all of a sudden when you need it, you're supposed to be really good at it. And it's like how do you keep your chops up, but then also be able to play 90% of the other stuff. I remember when I first transferred it was the same situation, like learning upright for college, and just bowing, like you were saying, bowing one note, and
that was so hard on us guys, right?
So hard, and it was such a different like forearm muscle, because when you're playing like electric in any style that you're playing, it's just not the same kind of pressure as like keeping that steady bow pressure.
My professor used to say when we'd walk in the lab.
Yeah, I always liken it to like. Say again.
Yeah, we got it. No, I'm sorry. We got like a weird delay here.
But hear you.
No, I was saying, you know, whenever I'd walk in the lab, my professor, you know, for bowing exercise, he'd like go over and saw some wood for a couple hours. Just be like sawing wood, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of just the internet, we have listeners from Italy, Poland, Bavaria.
Yeah.
We got Tim is saying that he had one 810 cab with two SVT heads. He just bought another 810 cab, and he says, do I need more? And the answer is always yes.
Yes.
810s are like guitars. You can't have too many.
Answer is yes.
Tim's actually a very good
hi to everyone. Hi to everyone around the world. Nice to
Haji says if you could
sorry for that little delay or whatever, you know.
That's cool.
One more time.
It's really. No, I was saying, Haji was saying if you can hear the neighbors screaming.
Dino, do you remember?
Yeah, this is really weird.
Yeah. Do you remember when I requested the? Do you remember when I requested the SVT, the Ace Frehley tour?
Oh my gosh! That? Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, I do remember.
I had 6 sent to me, and they. Yeah, so I had 6 SVTs on the stage with Ace Frehley, and I think I had 1 or 2 with me, and I was waiting for the other 4 to come. We were all stressing out because the whole stage was set up where all the marshals were on one side, but the SVTs were lacking. And they came in at time, and my tech ran and got them, and we set it up, and I was like, oh gosh, thank God. When your friend was asking about 2 SVTs being enough, I mean, 6 was pretty good. But I remember having a laugh when I asked Ace, I go, Ace, what's your stage setup? Like, what should I have for touring with you and all that? And he said, how about 6? And that's what it was, you know. It looked amazing, sounded amazing. I really only used 2 each night.
Okay.
I was going to say, use all 6. I didn't want to kill little animals or anything, you know.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how many
usually
of those
I just need 1. Usually 1 will do it.
Okay. But
yeah,
you
usually
had
1 or 2 if it was a really big stage. Yeah.
Cool.
Hey, really, what was needed, but it was very impressive to stand with them.
Oh yeah, just just having those in the background.
And we have delay, so I didn't.
Yeah, is it me?
Yeah, amazing.
Chris is the only one delayed for me.
Yeah, you're cutting out.
Log off and log back on real quick.
You're gonna log off?
No, I was wondering if Chris should, because I think you and I, Dino, are not delayed, but I think Chris.
Yeah, I think we're good. Chris, do you want to try logging off and jump back on real quick to see if that fixes the delay?
Okay.
Let's see if that happens.
Let me see what happens. I'll just click the app. I mean, the link again.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Exactly.
Thanks everyone for hanging with us here online.
You know what? Yeah, we gotta remind to turn off echo cancellation too. I don't know if that really matters either, but
okay. I might turn off mine then because I think mine's on. Thank you, Kirk. He said, I like the demos that I've heard of your new SGT circuit. Very excited for people to start trying those out in the wild. It's kind of cool because you can actually turn the grit way down, have the level a little boosted, and use it as like a clean, warm tubey boost.
Yeah.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah.
Let me turn off my echo cancellation. See if that does anything. Hopefully we can get Chris back.
I was going to say.
Well, Hollywood Hills internet, man. They're like on another planet out there.
Yeah. It's really difficult. Oh, no. See, now I can hear myself in your speaking.
Oh, let me turn. Okay.
Let me turn echo cancellation off.
See, that's what happens when I listen to you.
Don't listen to me. Nobody listens to me. Just ask my wife. Yeah, I'm hoping Chris can jump back on here real quick. But yeah, I'm just looking at some of these comments here. Wow, Mike's got an SVT 1000. That's from like mid 80s there, or mid 2000. Here he is. Hey, Chris.
Am I working?
You're working. I think we're
dealing
still
with the technology here.
Yeah, I think we're still delayed.
Is it really? I have no idea what's going on.
That's all right. That's right. Listen.
We'll just have to like act like Chris is on the moon, and we just need to like take a 5-second pause in between.
Exactly. Exactly. But I wanted to cover a couple of things here, though. So, Chris, you're originally from New York, correct?
Yes. Yep. New Yorker.
There we go.
This is where I'm from, actually.
So, did you?
Mm-hmm.
What transitioned you from New York? Like, did you start playing with the Cult and auditioning for bigger bands while you were in New York, or did that happen after you moved to LA? What was your transition from New York to LA?
It was just like I was looking to step up my game in the music business, I chose LA. And coming out to LA was really the reason, the instigator for me meeting everybody, because I was here, you know. And I think one of the first things was Bob Rock and Al Bachman. You guys, if you remember Tal Bachman, and that was a Capitol Records thing, and that led me to meeting Bob Rock, and that led to the Cult and a lot of session work and stuff like that. That was kind of one of my earlier breaks for sure.
Yeah.
And then being in Hollywood was really key, because I met a lot of writers and stuff that were interested in music like me and was pursuing it full on. And New York seemed a little daunting because of the price point and everything. I felt like I needed 5 jobs to pay the rent down in Manhattan, you know. And at the time I was upstate, so I kind of had to make a decision, and a few connections out here, and I just went for it. Bass and a suitcase in the car, man, just off we go.
Nice.
You know,
nice.
I love hearing about everyone's.
Yeah, so that was really that was the point.
Sorry, Chris, I was just saying that, like, everyone.
I didn't bring the SVT over.
Yeah, everyone that we interview, when they say they're moving from New York, like almost everyone has like a New York to LA story, and I'm always curious, like, what actual gear amp-wise, if they brought any. I think Rudy said that he like rode a train with his SVT rig or something like that. So yeah, but no, you were the smart one. You actually waited till
really. That's amazing.
Yeah, could you imagine?
Well, I mean, it was a dream rig for me. I mean, a lot of work to bring it across the country. That was something else.
Yeah. So, all right. So
you guys have any questions? I saw a few things you sent me.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, so you got to LA and you started working, you met Bob Rock. That led, I'm just trying to figure out the timeline here. So that led to eventually you joining the Cult at that point?
Yeah, they were in the middle of doing an album, and Bob called me and said, we need a bass player because something happened with the guy at the time they had. So I kind of just dove in and started recording Beyond Good and Evil, and did some touring with them, and then kind of rejoined them in 2006 when they came back together after Ian was doing Doors for a while, if you guys remember.
Oh, that's right.
And in between that time, I did stuff with Jerry Cantrell's solo band. And so like everything kind of kept connecting. I was very fortunate that one thing would end, but it would lead to another. So ever since kind of those early 2000s, I've been working and recording and touring the world with different bands, and, you know, getting long periods of time. Like the Cult was almost a decade. Ace was like 4 years, you know. The Vampires, well, we'll see how everything pans out for next year. Unfortunately, because of the touring being so complicated, there's nothing happening right now. But I think next year it'll be happening for the Vampires again, and maybe hopefully some new music. We'll see what everyone wants to do, you know. But for me, the timeline was kind of like meeting Bob was a big deal, and staying in Hollywood and being in lots of different bands, and working and touring. This is the first time I haven't toured like everyone else. You know, I haven't really had a break in many years. Many years, right? I mean, I'm trying to think. Dino, I've contacted you every year, every tour, checking in. This is the first time I haven't had to, you know, get some new tubes or something checked out, or, you know, whatever. But, you know, my big stuff, my big SVT stuff, they've been rocking for years. Bass band, the Cult, and now the Vampires. So my rig's been awesome. My 2 main heads that I always have, and the cabinet's always awesome. You know, they're road dogs, man. That's the thing. So my stuff's been insanely consistent and powerful and strong every night, you know.
Now, are you using most of the same stuff?
You know, another thing.
I was going to say, you're using most of the same stuff with the vampires as what you used with Ace. I know you're not using obviously 6 SVTs, but it's some of that same rig, or I can't remember if we.
Well, I had my. Oh yeah. I've been using the 2 heads with the Cult, the Ace Frehley band, and the Hollywood Vampires. You know. Okay. Yeah, the same ones, you know. When I had a lot of new stuff. Remember, Owl opened up for Ingve a few years ago, and I had this rig, and then you sent another 212. That's a really amazing rig too. You know, the 212 on here are different sound and that in between 10-15 thing, but the way you have this ported, the way this design of this cabinet back here is ported is really cool because you got the tweeter, you have both 12s set up and down like that with 2 ports, you know. So that's a great rig too, and I've been using that for years. This is great in the studio, because you don't have to like get it to that volume to get the tubes working, you know. Yeah, man. So can you hear me okay? Sorry about this delay.
Yeah, no, it's still there. That's all right though. We'll work with it. I just want to point something out. So
you getting any questions? I don't know if I'm supposed to see them.
Well, no, I was just going to say, Jason Ash, where's my super tiny SVT stack? It's right here, Jason. Back. See, I could never be a weather broadcaster. I can't do the green.
Mine's right. I got my red one right there.
Oh, there you go. Now.
Oh, the red one. The red ones are really cool.
Yeah.
Mine's back there somewhere. It's in the wall of Ampeg back there.
Well, I wanted to ask, Chris, you had mentioned that this is the first time in a long time that you haven't been touring, that you've kind of been sitting still for a moment. Like, what are some benefits that you feel like have come from just being able to, I'm sure writing being one of them, because it sounds like you're writing a ton right now, but what are some of the best benefits that you've had of not having to be on the road?
Good question.
Well, definitely, you know, utilizing it for I probably never would have done a solo album and pursued this artist and worked on a concept with a comic book and all that. That provided time for that. So that's what I would call, you know, making the lemons. So, and there's some other things brewing. I have a couple little things I can't really talk about yet, but I probably will in the next week or so. I'll be letting you guys know a project I'm kind of working with and stuff. There's some things brewing. We'll see how it all pans out, you know. But different things are happening, and different artists are kind of collaborating. And I'm also getting some special guests on my album. Yeah, I don't know if any of that would have happened. I probably would have done some EP and done something quicker because I would have been busy going on the road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a couple of my friends might make it on my album, you know, stuff like that. So that's going to be special and something I wouldn't have done normally, probably.
Now, Chris, you through the Hollywood Vampire
or something. So yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say actually
again, Dino. Sorry,
I actually want to share my screen here, and I'm going to try and do this, but I'm on your website under your music, and this was one of the questions that I had that you answered earlier. But you know, the music speaks for itself. The music is just really, really cool. But when I went to your website, I want to share this. And let me see if I can do this. The artwork is amazing. Let me see if I can do this.
Oh, thanks. The chriswyse.com.
Yeah. Can you guys see this?
Can't right now. Can't see anything. I was going to be super impressed because I know every episode we try to share something.
Yeah,
it's like he's figured it out.
Hold on. I am going to figure this out if it kills.
It doesn't work.
Let me see here. Hold on.
So somebody said while you're doing that, Dino, hey, once I had a dream that I interviewed Chris and I asked him if he was up to write a bass mock method, like something technical. I woke up and I did not have it answered. I think.
Yeah, I'm failing at this sharing the screen thing. Dang it. Because I mean the artwork, like on when you go to your website, there's the picture of the owl with the bow.
My bass method.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, if for everyone, Wyse.com, there's samples of the music. There's videos. You know, it's my name, chriswyse.com, and CHRISWYSE. And there's samples there of my new music, so you can check it all out. Check out the sights and sounds, and the artist is Russell Marks, and I give you a kind of feel for what my comic and concept is, you know. And the artwork is extraordinary. I can just stare at it for hours. It's really special.
Yeah, it's not letting me. It's not giving me
the question about my bass book.
Good. Talk about your bass book.
Not letting you show it.
Yeah.
I would do a bass book. I've been talking about doing that for a while because I'm a teacher. I mean, I've been teaching for many years. I'm in pretty deep music theory and technique and upright bass and French and German bow and all that. So I think I would try and give somebody, you know, that was really interested in that, if I wrote a book and all that stuff, which I've been talking about, I'd like to make it as simple and easy for them as possible, even though I would like to take you into some very technical and theoretical kind of places, you know, with the theory and the technique. My whole thing was I was confused in theory class. It looked like another language to me, and it is, of course, but I remember my theory teacher in school making a point how different everything was with the major scale, for example. And the great thing is the shape is the same all over the place, right? You just have to know your notes. You just have to know your neck. So my method and theory and concept and stuff would be something that's been on the back burner for a while. I have books and books of stuff. I'm pretty sure I'd know what I do. And we're so lucky as bass players because the shapes never change, right? The major scale is what it is all over the fretboard for the most part, right? And I think just learning your notes first is very important. Just don't worry about the sharps and flats. You understand what they are. Learn the simple notes and get started with understanding the fretboard. And then everything's a lot easier from that point on because you already know what notes you're playing, right? And but anyway, I remember thinking in school learning it for the first time because I could play at home. I was doing all the Iron Maiden, but I don't know what they were talking about in class sometimes. And the thing is not to make it sound so complicated. The thing is to bring people into the simplicity of what you're doing and from there. So I'd like to do a bass book. You know, I'd also like to do a book about my, you know, sort of crazy stories with all these artists done over the years and stuff. My friends and family will often sit around the dinner table and their heads are spinning and they're laughing about some of the stories. And they're like, why don't you do a book? Because like you've had all these crazy experiences with all these people. And I'm not talking about throwing anyone under the bus. I'm talking about genuinely really funny, crazy, outlandish stuff that would only have music business with certain types of people, you know.
Yeah, I feel like people will eat that up.
So all that's very intriguing. I mean, you really got to grip down and work hard to make all that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would be a lot of fun. Two kinds of books, a music bass method kind of thing, and a book with funny stories, I think would be fun. But not necessarily my story, maybe just a lot of fun stories so you could just sit down and open it up anywhere and read some fun little chapter where it's not weighted. You don't have to hear about my whole every little detail of how I would be more of fun, probably stories and stuff, you know.
Yeah, Dino, I figured it out.
What happened there? SVT.
Shout out to Aaron for figuring that out for me. So basically, I shared the tab, and then yeah. So this is
so go to music. Like go to the music. Click on album, and I just like some of this artwork is just absolutely stunning.
There we go.
Oh,
there you go,
so
guys.
Cool.
Back.
Yeah.
This one here is like
look at that.
That's the one about Jack the Ripper. Yeah.
Man.
Wow.
Great one.
These are incredible.
And who was the artist again, Chris?
Yeah, Russell Marks is amazing. He's amazing. And then you see he kind of did this. If you go down a couple, Russell Marks.
Yep. I'm writing that right now.
He's extraordinary. He's in London. And see, this is kind of the story. If you go up to the top with the owl with the bow, there's sort of a witch's familiar, and he comes together with the instrument and the bow, and all the things are elements that sort of have his powers come together, the sort of owl man. But that really shows some detail if you look at the art. Yeah, there's a lot of detail in there.
That is amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's just gorgeous.
It's fantastic.
Now, Chris, with Owl, are you primarily all upright? Or
yeah, that's
you do all upright.
It really is, and it's got the feel and style of the record.
I'm just making a note here.
No, it's like 50. I like to get it in. I'd like to get it in the set because people always kind of want to see the upright and stuff too. But I try and do a mix, maybe 50%, upright, 50% bass guitar.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Owl is a 3-piece, correct?
Yeah. We just roll out there like kind of a Rush, Nirvana style or whatever, kind of a raw rock band,
Okay.
There's layers on the album, of course, and extra vocals. I like to throw on lots of harmonies, and so it's a stripped down thing, but it works still. It's kind of like Jane Diction or something. Those guys, you hear the record, there's lots of layers, but live it's just 3 guys and Perry singing, and it works, so it's kind of that raw rock, lunk at times, the kind of attitude. But yeah, I like the trio a lot. It allows for the bass to speak, of course, too.
Yeah. Was this all recorded?
The bass on point in the trio because he's holding it down.
Was this all recorded during COVID?
Which my new stuff has been, yeah. The Black Sabbath thing we finished up over COVID. Yeah. The Black Sabbath release was for Owl, and it was really fun because Geezer and Ozzy and all that's a big deal. That's a big song, Children of the Grave. So I got in the middle of it and I was like, oh my God, why am I doing this song? Because it's such a great song. It's already great already. What am I doing? And then when I started putting the bow on top and singing it, I kind of found a new flavor, and I was like, okay, I'm going to finish it. And it's all kind of part of my new direction of utilizing layers in the studio a little more with the bow and the different things I like to do.
Yeah. Do you have a studio?
People chat this here? Let's see.
Oh.
And speaking of the artwork, Haji said that some of those images are Dino's next tattoo, but I think
maybe next time they'll try a different something,
Going to be our next tattoos for sure. I like the one where it like almost looks like Batman playing I know it's an owl, but it almost has a Batman vibe.
Yeah.
Say that again.
The one image where my favorite image was like the
check it all out. ChrisWyse.com.
Yeah, sorry for the delay.
Yeah, I'll have to get the Ampeg in some of the new Maybe I'll get sort of like the Ampeg grill in the background or something.
Yeah, Chris, you said you're
are you coming
really
out with anything for 2022?
Oh, sorry, I was just saying you were digging
Are you guys
into
coming out with anything 2022? Do you think NAMM's going to happen?
Sorry, go ahead, Dino.
No, that's a good question. There's rumblings about Summer NAMM in Nashville happening, but on a very scaled back level. And
really?
Yeah, and obviously, if Summer NAMM happens, then that'll be like a good springboard for Winter NAMM in January. Providing everybody, I don't know, if the quicker we can mitigate this COVID thing, the quicker we can all get back to hanging out and partying and playing music and doing what we love to do.
And in terms of us coming out with new things, we have a lot of tricks up our sleeve, but we just can't give away the timing yet.
Nope. Did we lose Chris?
Yeah, I'm especially excited about hearing about your new kind of drive channels.
Yeah. I will say,
what's going on, guys?
I know it's hang on a second. Let me see. I don't know if there's anything we can adjust on our end or
looking to.
Yeah. Because there's probably like a 5 or 6 second delay.
Losing the signal?
Nope. It's just delayed still.
Yeah.
Really delayed.
Oh wow, I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
are you on data?
Maybe we can plan another one again, right? Get better signal.
I was going to say, are you on data?
I'm sorry for whatever's going on. We'll figure it out for the next one if you want.
Yeah. I mean,
no, I'm on Wi-Fi now.
You're on Wi-Fi. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Really weird.
Yeah. Let me try one thing, okay?
Okay.
Let's see. Is this better or worse?
Well, the picture and everything was fine. It's the delay, though.
Is this working better or worse?
I'll wait for my signal to get over to him.
Yeah.
It's the picture is fine. It's the delay in the audio that's really tough. I think we completely lost him.
I think so.
Hey guys, thanks for bearing with us on this. We're having some technical difficulties here.
We need to figure out who's his internet provider. Write him a letter.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a pretty robust signal here too, and if you remember last SVT time with John Button, my internet was down.
That's right.
It was down to like T-2 seconds before it
That's true. Dino came on and was just like sweating, like, okay, so
really, like
show and
well, let's see if Chris comes back, we'll hang here for a few minutes. If he comes back, we'll continue our conversation with Chris Wyse, and hopefully he comes back. If not, we'll have him back on. Yeah.
Also, a lot of really cool comments. We love hearing from you guys and ladies, and it's just awesome to see people around the world tuning in, listening. It's really cool to see people just like aware of the new rocket base launch, and people have dug into that and are really enjoying those. And we have Sean Race back. Yeah, I remember it was your name backwards, so we're remembering this now. And
there you go. That's right.
Sean says the new rocket base amp sounded great, by the way. Thank you.
Jason says the Shags kept better time than this video. Sorry, Jason. But you are right.
Yeah.
It's really weird because I felt like we'd ask he'd be talking, and then we'd ask a question, and then he wouldn't get our question, so he would continue on with his.
And then we're cutting him off. Yeah.
And then we're cutting him off. It's like, oh man, it's too bad.
I'm so glad we got to show the artwork though, because that is absolutely incredible.
And honestly, like I've been listening to Owl since I've known Chris, and it is a complete departure. But it's just three guys. It's Chris, a drummer, and a guitar player, but they have a way of layering things. It's really cool stuff. It's definitely worth checking out. His new stuff, his solo stuff, I was listening to this morning, just the snippets on his website, and it's pretty intense. The production is top notch, as you would expect from somebody like Chris. But yeah. So Chris just texted me. Sorry, Dino, something is up with the internet here. I'm just going to text him back and say no worries.
Still got about 45 minutes out of him, almost.
Yeah, really. I'm going to say if you can log back in. Great. If not, we will catch up. I should be saying this while. Never mind. I'm so technically. If not, we'll catch up later. All right. So hopefully he will come back. But yeah, I mean, that was 45 minutes with Chris. Like I said, I've known Chris for a long time. He's just a great guy to hang out with. He's just amazing soloist too. Like, you got to figure for Ace Frehley to give him. I want to say he's got like a 10-minute, maybe not 10-minute, maybe it's more like a 5-minute, just Chris solo tapping, distortion, all sorts of things.
Solo. Is that a moment live where people kind of walk away and it's like literally just Chris?
No, I mean, it's like somebody, one of the videos I saw, somebody had actually filmed it on their iPhone from the audience. And now the room is pretty like, dialed into what he's doing. And yeah. And he's entertaining too, so he keeps everybody engaged. I'm
like that, and for any bass solo to happen in a room, be like that is like you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I mean that's just it.
And I don't know about you as an artist, but like for me, if somebody is like, "All right, bass solo," it's like the last thing I want to hear.
Yeah. It's like one of the wedding bands I used to play with, of all songs that the leader would give me a solo in would be Brick House. And it's like, so you want me to stop playing the bass line that everybody's dancing to right now to play a solo? That's not going to work. I'll do my solos in the jazz set where nobody's listening.
Yeah, I hear you. You're like, I'm kind of holding it down here. And the second I stop doing this, it stops becoming Brick House.
Yeah, and you wonder why everybody gets off the dance floor. Well, it's like, yes. But no, I'm not a soloist either. I mean, I do my solo slappity tappity stuff here and there for videos, and I get called out for it. But I'm just as happy sitting with a good drummer and a good rhythm section, and just, playing a James Brown lick for James Brown groove for 50 minutes. I am quite content doing that too. I'm what they call a lazy bass player. I'll play the same bass line over and over and over ad nauseum.
I'm what they call a lead bassist.
Yeah, right.
Where I will play that riff, but it better be louder than everybody else in the band.
Right. So Jason asked here, not Ampeg related entirely, or not Ampeg related, but why doesn't Yamaha sell any 6-stringers that aren't signature models? That's a great question, Jason. Yeah, as of right now, I think the only 6-string that Yamaha offers is the John Patitucci, which is an amazing bass. Mm-hmm. But I know for the TRB was usually the line that was offered in 6-string models.
Yeah.
And I think I think right now in TRB you can only get it in 4 and 5. So that's a question we'll pass on to our Yamaha family and ask them what's going on. I really don't have an educated answer for you right now, though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Question for everyone listening and watching, though. Dino's going to hate me for asking this. I want to get a vote of whether people would want Ampeg basses back. Not the scroll bass. Not the scroll bass. Just Ampeg basses, I'm just curious. What does Dino say every time I bring this up?
I've seen this movie several times. I know how it ends. The boat sinks.
You know, you always say Jack dies and the boat sinks.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm trying to be family oriented. Yeah, Jack dies and the boat sinks. What can I say? Even though there were spots for 2 people on that door. Jack had,
right? Come on.
Yeah. See, Hodgie's even saying no. No, I mean, it who knows? If it came back, it came back. But like I said, we did the plexis late 90s, early 2000s. They were okay. Those were dead knockoffs of the original 60s. And then the Loud Technologies plexis that we did in the mid 2000s was actually an improved design. The neck pocket was better. The pickups were better. They were done by Fujikin in Japan, and they were actually very well made instruments. But it's one of those things. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's a fad, but they came out right when the Foo Fighters, when Dave Grohl did that video. I forget what song it was for, but he came out doing a video with an original plexi, and everybody like, oh man, that's a really cool bass or guitar. And so who knows? The prices on some of these vintage Ampeg scroll basses now. In fact, my buddy of mine, Dave Fowler, is selling one that was owned by, I can't remember the guy that owned it. It's all completely redone, and it's big money. I think he's asking like $3,500 for it.
Wow. Jason said he'd rock a Plexi 6. Now, there's no way people aren't paying attention to you on stage if you're playing a Plexi 6. Also, I wonder how much that would weigh. But and then Sean mentioned something about the new Ashdown Bases designed by Dan Lakeland. I've actually played those. I actually really like those. I love the aesthetic of them too.
Which bases?
The Ashdown Bases.
Oh yeah,
worked on. Yeah. I had a chance to play those. Yeah, I was really impressed. I think it is all about the right designer and right aesthetic and right vibe. And I think the acrylic stuff and the scrolls were all like almost like so funky that they were like, collectors. They have the collector's vibe to them, but maybe not the everyday use vibe.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
I had a Plexi that, it was a great bass, but I don't want to say it was a one-trick pony because you could swap out the pickups.
Mm-hmm.
But you could either get a really decent P bass sound out of it, or kind of like a pseudo Music Man, depending on the pickup that you had in it. So, but yeah, you never know. You never know what we're going to come out with.
You never know what crazy ideas.
Exactly. Well, guys, it doesn't look like Chris is coming back. So if anybody has any last minute questions, by all means, please post them in the comments. I do want to say this on record in regards to, for those of you that have been playing along, we obviously had one of probably the biggest launches that Ampeg has done in a long time with Rocket Bass this past week. And I got to give you credit, Tom. This was all on you, brother. You being the manager, and anybody that knows the relationship that Dom and I have working together, it's I'm kind of I don't want to say I'm the old fart. But
no, you're the bigger brother, I'd say.
I am the guy that is less inclined to try new things. And Dom is the guy to say, no, we need to try new things. We need to move this forward. We need to push the boundaries like Ampeg did back in the 60s. And you did with this, man, with the Rocket Bass. It was, I think it's a knock out of the park. I think anybody that's listening, anybody that goes and tries these things out, they're going to be very, I won't say pleasantly surprised, because they always know we put out good stuff, but I think they're going to be blown away when they hear these things. So
thank you, Dino.
Yeah.
Truly. And Dino's acting like he didn't have anything to do with it. He had a ton to do with it. And he's really good at when I get way out there and like, you know, wanted to actually build rocket ships. He's like, yeah, exactly. Let's take this back to reality a little bit. But that being said, you know, there's a lot more where this came from. So
yeah,
we're so excited to finally be able to start sharing things that we've been working on since Ampeg got acquired by Yamaha and really showing where we're going. And I think it's in a really good direction. So
yeah,
we're excited to have you all on board.
Yeah. Very good. And thank you all for hanging in there. Anybody that's just joining in now, obviously Chris was having some internet issues on his end. And, you know, we talked for about 45 minutes before it was really, that was really strange.
It was almost Morse code level of like communication.
It was like radio level delay, you know, like a 6-second delay. But anyways, like I said, thank you everybody for chiming in. We're just about out of time here in about 3 minutes anyways. You'll be able to follow this up with Chris, the actual interview will probably repost on Facebook and YouTube in the next day or so. And until next time, we've got actually April 15th. I'm going to do a plug for our next one. April 15th, 2 weeks from today, we've got the legend, the absolute legend, Jerry Jamont coming on.
Awesome.
And just to point this out, so those of you that know Jerry, just look up Atlantic Records and Aretha Franklin. And I mean, he's done so much, and we're going to talk about that. But April 15th is the day we're having Jerry come on. It also happens to be, Jerry reminded me of this when I booked him for it. It's the day he actually met Aretha.
No way.
On April 15th. Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
Because when I threw out April 15th, it was like, yeah, let's do April 15th, man. That's the day I actually met Aretha in the studio when they recorded Think. You Better Think.
I love that someone would have that much. Like, do you remember the day you met me, Dino?
I do.
You do? I was going to say, that's so cool that somebody would have so much, like, is that big of a presence to.
No, I
met this person that day.
Let's put it this way. I remember that, I don't want to say I interviewed you, but you and I talked about.
I do remember this. Yeah.
When you were doing when you were going for this position. Yeah. And yeah, man, absolutely.
That's true. That is true. I forgot you were like a bit of a gatekeeper there.
No. Not at all. Let's not bore everybody with our personal, with our bromance.
We will be featured on the next SVT. No.
But yeah, not next Thursday, 2 Thursdays from today, we'll have Jerry Jamont, and then we've actually got Mike Inez from Alice in Chains coming up too.
Very cool.
So, keep checking. We'll keep posting, and if you get a chance, go out and check out those new rocket bases. And until next time, have an awesome weekend, everyone.
Yes,
and Dom, I will. I'll see you in the next meeting.
I'll see you all too soon online. Thanks, everyone. Happy April Fool's Day. Can I just tell everyone every time? Well, we already talked about this in all the SVT time. Sorry. But since we didn't have time to do it, I just want you all to imagine you go to ampeg.com. It probably didn't work out because we just had a real product launch. But on April Fool's, you go to ampeg.com and you go to the front page, and there is an advertisement for Thunderwear, and it's underwear that rumbles as you play bass. So, anyways, we didn't get to do that for April Fool's Day.
I was going to say, that's not really on the website, is it?
No, just, imagine one day.
All right.
Underwear, go get it.
You got me nervous there. All right, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Peace.